everybody. Just wanted to hop on here. Like I said in my previous video, I've actually been attempting checking out programs, trying to figure out how to bring new content to my channel. Perfect way to start. I came across this article here. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it, but this is the first time that I actually ever saw this article, and I wanted to comment about it. You know I bring up a lot of controversial stuff. A lot of people might not agree. I mean, this is my opinion, and I have no problems sharing my opinion. I won't feel that I need to keep my thoughts to myself, afraid to offend anybody. Basically, we've become a society of snowflakes, and it's not right that people hold back their feelings and don't speak out about what's right. In this article, it's about a 7-year-old boy, one of two twins. Basically, the mother thinks that he suffers from gender dysphoria. He's 7 years old. The reason the mother thinks that he suffers from gender dysphoria is because when he was 3 years old, he went to a McDonald's, got a Happy Meal, and got a girl's toy in there, and he loved that toy. Ever since that day, the mother claims she knew that he wanted to be a girl. This destroyed the relationship between the mother and the father. The father's been having a never-ending battle. And the divorce itself, I mean, it's just been insane, like a lot of other divorces. I really can't necessarily say they're putting the kids in the middle of it, because this is really about the kids. I really have a feeling that that's why they separated in the first place. It sounds like the mother's a little nutty. She's saying the father's nutty. He's a religious freak. That he's crazy. That he stole her car. Basically, all this weird stuff. I would ignore anything that they're claiming, throwing all these, throwing at each other. That's not what the topic's about. I mean, it's about this kid. He's 7 years old, and she's trying to have him go through hormone treatments and eventually change his gender. Chemical castration. This is a 7-year-old. What in your right mind thinks that this is okay? In my opinion, I don't think anybody under 18 should be able to make that decision, because the mind's not formed yet. Kids going through puberty, stuff like that, their mind's all over the place. Somebody might be a little bit feminine. Oh, well, maybe I should have been a girl. Yeah, well, don't do anything too soon, because when you're older and you start figuring things out for yourself, things might change. And it goes the other way for, these little girls that think that they should be boys. We've always had tomboys. We've always had feminine boys. I don't understand this. What now makes people think that it's okay to change the sex of their children? This is not right. There's nothing about going through all these articles and stuff. There's nothing about this boy that screams he wants to be a female and suffers from gender dysphoria. It seems like over at his mom's house, she puts him in dresses, paints his nails, tells him he should have long hair, gives him, girls' toys to play with. But when he goes over to his father's, he's a normal little boy and wants to be a boy. But his mother tells him he's a girl. This kid's probably so screwed up in his head. And to think that there's another one out there, that there's a twin. The funny thing is, though, is that this isn't even these kids' biological mother that is trying to do this. She gave birth to them, but artificial insemination with somebody else's eggs. So, not necessarily her blood. And the reason that she's getting so much say is because I think the courts see she has money and that she's a doctor. So, out of the respect for the profession, they respect her decision, which is not right. I don't care who you are. A father, as long as a father wants to be involved in his children's lives, as long as a mother wants to be involved in their children's lives, both of them should have a say so. But of course, they're fighting over the custody. The mom wants 100% rights to make decisions for her children without the dad. She says the dad's crazy, of course, but I'm going through all this stuff, and it just doesn't seem like that. Just today on the 24th, the judge actually ruled the dad will have a say in the gender transition of 7-year-old. And this has been going on for a while. So, like I said, yesterday was the first day that I came across it. I'd read to you guys, but honestly, you don't want to hear me read. You guys probably don't even want to hear me talk half the time. But, yeah, I went through and I did a little bit of investigating on this because, it's asinine to think that somebody thinks that this is okay to change a 7-year-old sex. And I found other articles too, which we'll go in a little bit, but you look at this child and it's just everything about it screams boy. But of course, these are pictures are coming from the father. I haven't seen one single picture come from the mother, which also makes me question. But, at first they ruled that, the father wouldn't have any custody, but at least they gave him the right to have a decision or a say-so in what happens with the son. There's an article saying the father says the 6-year-old son refuses mom's demand to dress like a girl. Now he's being charged with child abuse. So, obviously, this is a really bad divorce here, and they're both going at each other's throats and stuff. But, I don't know about this. Honestly, there's just too many sites for the father here. This was a site here talking about everything that the father claims, and this psychiatrist claim. James has no impairment, has never had an impairment. At his father's home, James does not meet the insistent, constant, persistent test. Okay, I don't know. Like I said, you don't want to hear me read. But it says he does not meet the test for gender dysphoria. He says he wants to be a girl only at his mom's house. When James is his father, he refuses girls' clothes, says he's a boy to his family and friends, refuses to play with a girl, and engages in typical male play. So, this just goes on and on. It screams psycho mother. Honestly, come on. If you're changing your child's gender, that's... This child abuse. She should be thrown in jail. She should not have rights to her children. And like I said, not even blood. Not even her children. She just gave birth to them. Alright, this is change.org. This is the petition. Everybody's, just been screaming for help for this little boy to save this from happening. So this is back when he was 6 years old. But one of the terms, too, is when the father was granted rights to have a say-so, the judge also put a gag order on him, saying that he cannot discuss this with the media and he has to take down all these sites. So I wouldn't be surprised if all these sites are down, by tomorrow. Like I said, this was just today, so I'm sure everything's going to be coming down. This is a Facebook page here. The Facebook page, basically the same thing. It was just going on and on. Shows pictures. That's him, bottom left. But, yeah, just typical normal boy. Looks happy, doesn't look depressed. This here. This obviously was written by the mother. This screams psycho. Says that it's a scam. The father is actually a lying piece of blank, abusive and crazy. Come on. That is a bitter ex-wife right there. Talking about fraudulently stole and sold her truck for $40K. Hey, if you were married, I'm sorry, that's common ground. It's when I hear all this kind of stuff here, I don't take this seriously. This is somebody trying to combat everything the father's doing, trying to save this little boy. So she's trying to basically character assassinate him. But this was really cool. Senator Ted Cruz came out about this. Matt Krause is trying to actually introduce a legislation that prohibits the use of puberty blockers in these situations for children under 18. Right on. That's what I'm saying. That's what needs to be done. I mean, these people are psycho. They shouldn't. What happens to these kids when they actually hit puberty and something's not right? I mean, these kids are going to commit suicide, act out. I mean, just suffer from a life of trauma if they're not already. These are some of the. Let me see. I think this is the. Alright, this is a girl that has been transitioning to a boy. 5 years old. Just another example. How is this right? Let me see what the video is. I haven't even watched the video yet.
Nightly Films is sponsored by Pfizer.
Supported by a drug company. Interesting.
Yeah. You look really handsome. Are you ready for today? Are you ready for school?
Yeah.
Okay. Jacob is your typical energetic little boy who loves to run around,
Yeah, you're a
loves to play in the
psycho
dirt,
lady.
loves to get his hands into things.
He's just like the funnest kid and a great buddy to have around. He was also born in a girl's body.
Yeah,
Jacob
you're a
is
psycho too.
transgender.
Both of you should be arrested.
The doctor said that we had a girl.
Yeah, clearly a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we started thinking of girl names.
But you're
Mia was
depressed and
born
always
in
wanted a boy.
2010. Go to Dada.
Mia really wanted to change her clothes a lot, right? Constantly, like 12 times a day.
But then the doggy sweater came, and she became obsessed about wearing this one garment for 6 months straight, over the ballet tutu, over the Christmas
Oh, must
clothes.
be a
In
boy.
hindsight, I think what
Oh.
she was trying to do was dispel a sense of discomfort in her, the way her image was being shown to the world.
She would take on boy personas and always want to play with boy things. And we thought, well, it seems like we have a tomboy on our hands, right? She didn't fit in with the boys and she didn't fit in with the girls. And it was obvious to her and the other kids.
I think she felt that, and so she would truth from people and wouldn't look people in the face when they talked to her.
One like that, okay? But you look beautiful right now. You look awesome. What do you think, Mia?
I want someone to cut my hair, and I want it to be like that.
Her need to play boy roles and her need to be seen or spoken to as a boy at home became very persistent and very consistent. Those are the hallmarks of a possibly transgender child: consistence, persistence, and insistence. And she was meeting all those markers. I
Oh,
was
so nice. This
confused
lady's a
and
professional.
concerned, and I hoped that this obsession with being a boy would go away. I remember crying. 'cause
She's
I
5 years
imagined her
old
being
already.
in the
She
playground
already
and
knows.
playing with her. I imagine her going through high school and not having a date. A mother's heart knows when her child is suffering. He was talking about hating his body. I even found him kind of poking at himself at some point, angrily, wanting to be something different, saying things like, "Why did God make me this way? Why did God make me wrong?"
Oh, sounds like a typical 5-year-old
A child
vocabulary.
shouldn't have to live like that. I was driving up the street and a car was going really fast and it made it, but we had to slow down really rapidly. And I said to myself, if this was the moment where I lost her, What would I have wanted to have done? Would I have wanted to force her to be Mia for that one last day?
Alright, this lady's just stupid. I can't take any more.
Or
of
would I
this.
want her
I'm
to
gonna
have
go back
gone
over to this
happy,
video though.
being who she really was?
Ah, it's not gonna shut up.
And I
Alright,
think
no.
at that point, my mind was made up.
Oh, her mind was made up. Not the little girl's.
It was
Her
April of
mind
last
was
year.
made
We
up.
hadn't yet transitioned Jacob, but he had short hair, and
Alright, well, forget that. You guys can find it over on NBC News if you want to continue, but I think the lady's just straight up stupid. Should be thrown in jail. But I definitely want to show you this. We're going back to the previous story, which got me going here. Let me find it here. By the way, this is my Facebook page. Feel free to check it out.
Mommy,
When did she tell you you were a girl?
cause I love
Yeah,
girls.
let me restart this.
Well, you're a boy, right?
No, I'm a girl.
Who told you you were a girl?
Mommy,
When did she tell you you were a girl?
cause I love girls.
Oh, I see. So mommy told you you were a girl?
Uh-huh.
Does mommy do anything else like with a girl with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Like Jesus.
What does she do?
She do comes in on me.
She puts dresses on you? Oh wow. And what else does she do?
She buys my headbands
Uh-huh.
and she get me hair clips,
Oh, hair clips? Okay. What else?
some microphones,
What else?
like a skeleton.
Does she do anything with your fingers?
Yeah.
What?
She paints my nails.
Why does she do that?
Cause I love my nail polish.
Oh. So mommy puts you in a dress and puts nail polish on you? And what does mommy tell you?
She tells me I'm a girl.
Oh, okay. Do you think you're a girl?
Uh-huh.
You do? Is that why you wear this, so that you can have long hair? Okay.
It's sad, truly sad. Keep in mind, once again, 7-year-old. You know, I believe gender dysphoria is a thing, you know, but like I said, it should be something an individual decides as an adult. Once they have the mindset that could actually decide for themselves. But a child at this age doesn't have that mental capacity to make that decision. This is obviously being coached. One last one. I saved the best for last. This is just absolutely insane. Britain's first transgender family now transitioning their 5-year-old son into female. These people should be put to death. I mean, let me just go down to the picture. This is on the Daily Wire. You can find it there. These are the people. It's a female to male transitioning, a male to female transitioning, transitioned. Let me take that back. And now their little boy wants to be a girl. You cannot tell me that this wasn't because the way this boy was raised. Obviously, trying to take after the parents. It's a learned thing. I mean, come on. This child should be taken away from these people and put in a home where this child could be normal and understand the difference in what's really going on. Now, I'm all about LGBT rights. You know, there was a movement that really made a difference in America. It was a fight for equality. It was a battle, but guess what? The LGBT members of society won that battle to be looked at as an equal. Of course, we have ignorant people in our society. People that say the wrong things, that live in the past. This goes for everything, not just LGBT, but this goes for, you know, people of all cultures, nationalities, religions. I mean, there's just ignorant people out in the world that will label somebody and attack them for that. But there is also, on the other hand, there's this agenda going on, especially with the LGBT community right now. It seems like nothing's good enough. They got to shove this agenda down down everybody's throat. It's not just America, but down everybody's throat. Okay, I understand the Pride Festival. Now that's gone to a whole different level. Now it's just about hooking up, drugs, parties. It's actually pretty sickening now, because now it's not just classified as a gay community. Of course, it was the gay community at first, then it's LGBT. The T, actually, I think it was just LGB at first, and then they threw in the T, and now it's the Q. Now it's plus. Now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 something. I don't know, but basically, this community has decided that they are no longer a community of family that are all in it together. Now everybody wants to be classified as something different, have their own flag waving in the air, pushing this agenda down everybody's throat. That's not what the movement was about. The movement was about to be considered equal and to not be persecuted for the ones that you love. It makes me sick to see what's happening within this community. People are fighting amongst each other because they don't fit into what they classify themselves as. So it's like almost like a battle between the classifications. But what really sickens me is not that they lost focus on what the movement was about, but it's what they are trying to push on children. I understand acceptance in schools about having the clubs, but we're talking older. We're talking about when kids are going through puberty and starting to understand things. But now we got like kids, like kindergarteners, they have drag queens coming in and reading them stories and in drag and pretty graphic so-called children's stories. And coming out that even one of them was found out to be a sex offender that shouldn't even been around children, yet people kind of turned a blind eye to that one. But there's no reason that any kind of sex talk should be talked with any children, especially under the age of puberty. What you should be teaching these children is acceptance and love. Love who you want. You don't need to. You don't guide them on what's right. Just love your child. Love your child for who they are. Cater to their needs, but don't coach them or coerce them or guide them in any direction whatsoever. These kids will figure it out for themselves. They don't need to be wrapped in bubble wrap everywhere they go. When we were kids, we figured things out just fine for ourselves. It's like, yeah, there was a lot of persecution and stuff back in the days, but things have changed. Times have changed, but things are getting a little too far now, especially when you're trying to change the sex of your child. There's nothing medically that can convince me otherwise that this is right. I just don't understand it. If somebody wants to go out in public and they're in a relationship, if 2 guys in a relationship, 2 girls in a relationship, a guy, a girl, and another guy, whatever, if somebody wants to dress up in woman's clothes, and you know what? Love people for who they are. This is how this person identifies. Love them for who they are. They are their own person, to each their own. If people are showing emotion towards each other, hey, they're showing love. Who cares? Why hate somebody for sharing love? But we're losing morals in the society. It really sickens me to see the things that are happening. Once again, shoving agendas down children's throats. It's like you see it on everything, just broadcasted everywhere in the month of June. I think it's June. I think that was probably a month, but I mean, there's things that kids should not be exposed to, and that's what's happening. We're losing all sense of morals in the society. It's like everybody wants a bubble for everything. Everybody screams equal rights. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants that. But at the same time, they're taking away from other people's rights. And I don't understand how people don't see this. You're fighting because you want this, but you don't understand that the same thing. You have to be considerate of everybody. It's not about you, and that's what the left is really all about lately. It's just about them. They don't think of the good of the country. They only think about them and their needs. It's all about their needs. They want. But they don't realize that as they're doing this, they're also taking from everybody else. They're taking away rights from other Americans. People that have morals and people that, I mean, the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, everything is in jeopardy right now. These people want to have free speech, but they don't want the other side to have free speech. These people don't want guns, but the other side wants guns. The other side sees what's happening. You know, the more the left screams for government control, the more the right understands what's happening, seeing their rights taken away and seeing a repeat of history, and feels the need to protect themselves. It's getting scary out there. Our nation is very divided right now. But I'm starting to get off subject here. I just wanted to touch base on this because this just sickens me. I just don't understand how it, and the thing is, the society is allowing this. That's what's really scary. You get these like quack doctors or psychiatrists that literally sign off on a first session. Oh yeah, this person says that they want this, and they don't even recognize that, hey, they're probably just repeating what their parents said. You know, it's like, I don't know what happened, but ever since the whole Bruce Jenner thing, all of a sudden everybody wants to change their, you know, sex, or change their gender. I don't understand it. You know, people are going to be regretting this later on. Back in the day, somebody wanted to change their gender, they went through years of counseling and therapy. Nowadays, it's like you go into a couple sessions and you get signed off and people start the treatments right away. Look at all the people that have actually gone through the whole process and literally are having regrets because it didn't help with their so-called gender dysphoria. It wasn't gender dysphoria. There's a lot of issues that can make people confused about themselves. But a lot of people are realizing that they made a huge mistake, and it's hard to go back. Most people can't. But like I said, you know, I'm going to touch on a lot of controversial stuff. I have an opinion. I have no problem sharing my opinion. And honestly, if you don't agree with it, who cares? It's my opinion. Nobody's going to change my opinion. You know, that's something I fight with the left all the time. When I say something, and obviously I'm pro-Trump, you know, I see things. You know, I don't consider myself a Republican. I don't know. I really can't say it. I've only voted Democrat in my life, like I've said in previous videos, but I say, if anything, I'm a libertarian. But I definitely side with Trump. I think it's been a long time since we had a president like this, a president that understands that we're losing all sense of decency and morals in our society, and trying to get rid of this corruption, the people that are pushing this agenda. And I don't know. I'm just going to leave it right there before I get in a whole other rant. But like I said, you know, I'm going to be pushing a lot of stuff here, and honestly, that's what my channel's about. It's, you know, speaking out, speaking your opinion, and I want people to speak their opinions. But don't try to change my opinion, and I won't try to change your opinion. I only speak what I feel. If you agree with it, great. If you don't, oh well. But that's what we're losing in America. People don't speak their opinions anymore because they're just scared that they're going to actually, you know, step on somebody's feet, you know, burst somebody's little bubble, melt a snowflake, offend somebody. And, you know, it's getting ridiculous. It's just absolutely getting ridiculous. So, like I said, I'm going to leave it there. I got some videos coming up that I'll be putting together. I'm actually going out to Baraboo, Wisconsin Saturday, weather permitting, but it looks like it's going to be a great day. I'm going out to Devil's Lake, which Devil's Lake is probably one of the most scenic areas around Wisconsin. Huge bluffs that were formed by the glaciers. It's basically, I mean, they look like mountains. but real nice hills you could climb, and there's waterfalls. We're gonna try to find the hidden waterfalls. They don't like tourists going back there, so but I kind of have an idea where they're at, so I'm gonna actually try to get out there, find those waterfalls. But I'm gonna be putting a video together of that trip, and the following week I will actually be going to Denver. Haven't been to Denver before, so this would totally be a huge culture change for me. So from what I hear and the things that I'm going there with family, so I mean, of course, it's all family around my age. We're going out there to celebrate a 30th birthday, so it should be pretty cool. I mean, the people got some good ideas. I think we're gonna go check out Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs. Somebody else wants to go out to the hot springs, so I think that we're gonna do that. Try to track down the hot springs, maybe do a little shopping. Brother-in-law wants to go check out the dispensaries. That's gonna be the first for me. I have never seen a dispensary, so I'm very interested to see what that's all about. Check that out. I don't think that they'll let me film in there, but if they do, I will definitely be filming in there. So I know a lot of people are kind of interested to know what dispensaries actually look like. Totally brand new to me. You know, I'm a truck driver. I don't smoke. I can't smoke, but hey, I'm interested. I want to see what's. I mean, I'm one of those firm believers. I mean, I actually like pages like marijuana majority. You know, I am definitely an advocate. You know, I think that marijuana could do great things for a lot of people. I'm one of the people that advocate for a PTSD for our veterans. They should definitely be prescribed marijuana, better than all the psychotropic drugs that the VA tries to push on people. So, you know, it's definitely got its medicinal benefits to it, and I've seen it help so many people, even my brother-in-law. You know, I'm not going to get into his medical issues, but he's been going through something very rare that literally maybe affects like less than 1% of people across the world. It's absolutely insane. But you know, hey, it's something that was supposedly a death sentence. Luckily, it hasn't an impairment. If anything, he's got better, and he smokes marijuana. So, you know, keep on. I know I'm definitely an advocate for natural cures. So, you know, check out Jordan Sather too. If you haven't checked out Jordan Sather, he has a lot of good knowledge as far as when it comes to, you know, natural cures and all that. So, you know, check out these people. You know, I see some friends and they're suffering from stuff like cancer, like, you know, stage 4, and they refuse to listen to any kind of alternative medicine. And, you know, it can't force it upon them. They're going through enough right now, but I don't care what you're going through. I think that everything's worth a shot. You know, nothing is a death sentence until you let it be. So, like I said, I'm gonna end it on there. I like to rant and go on and on to other topics. I mean, I started with one thing, and look, I'm already getting on to marijuana. So I'm just gonna end it there. But like I said, I got some new content coming up. You know, I'm gonna probably get something out in the middle of next week. So I'll do this little trip that I'm taking this weekend, and I'll look forward to that. All right, you all have yourselves a great evening.
Michelle Cretella is Executive Director of the American College of Pediatricians and joins us now to discuss James's story. Dr. Cretella, first, your observations about James and his wanting to be Luna with his mother and James with his dad. Is this gender dysphoria, and can a 6-year-old struggle with this?
A 6-year-old child can certainly have gender dysphoria, but James's case does not really fit that definition. A young child who has gender dysphoria persistently and consistently will insist they are not their biological sex. But in this case, James is quite happy being a boy with his father and seems to behave and act like a girl with his mother. So there's some red flags there.
How does this differ from children this age simply being curious about gender?
There's some overlap, but generally a child with true gender dysphoria is so upset, so emotionally upset by their biological sex that they will reach the point where they insist it's not who they are. So whereas a child who's just experimenting, they may try out different sex stereotyped playing or cross-dressing, things like this, but it's not a persistent or consistent habit.
What do you think would be the best thing for James in this situation?
The ideal approach here should be with a therapist who will objectively look at James and the very difficult situation they're in. This is a divorce situation. And basically assess what's different about when James is with mom and with James is with dad. There are cases now, I don't know these parents personally, but there is definitely the case in which some mothers in particular can experience gender mourning. Moms who so desperately wanted a girl but never gave birth to a daughter can enter a deep depression, and that depression is only lifted when one of their sons acts in an effeminate way or allows the mom to dress them as a girl. So there are cases like this in the literature. So basically a therapist who is objective, does not have a stake in the case, needs to look at other extenuating circumstances, environmental factors.
What are your thoughts on allowing children to choose their gender?
It's outrageous. Look, our sex is determined at conception by our genetics, by our DNA. When children are born, we as physicians recognize the sex that they are by their physical bodies. And that's what children need to be taught. Some people, most of us, use sex and gender interchangeably. Unfortunately, we're now in a culture that is heavily dominated by transgender activists who are teaching children as young as preschool that sex and gender are two different things and that they can be at odds with one another. So as parents and honest physicians, we have to teach our kids the truth. People have a biological sex determined at conception, and that never changes. It's with you for your whole life.
Dr. Michelle Cortello with the American College of Pediatricians, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you for having me.